This is things you might not have heard. I am Jay Cleveland Payne, and if the bandwidth holds up, we will get you a show for this morning that includes the weekend's latest in information, politics, current events, and pop culture news. We are your go-to supplemental source for both mainstream and unconventional news stories that you've missed with added context, and we've had some bandwidth issues on Monday, so there's your first apology of the day. I am going to give you 10 stories that we produced from your work. You basically told us they were conversational, you vetted them as good, and we put them into this cast here. We'll explain the full vetting process in a bit, and want you to stay tuned to the end for some today things, because they're always fun things for today. Our website is conversationproject.com for more information about what we do all day, all the time, and email us at the conversation inbox at gmail.com for more details on how to talk to us and basically tell us what to do. Today is Monday, February the 12th, 2024. We are celebrating our own Super Bowl football hangover. We'll get to what that is in a bit, but here we go for the stories. No particular order as they're presented. These are just kind of highly laid out for the day as we put them into the cast. They just sort of in this way. Actually, that is not extra. We put some stories, our more tragic stories, at the very end of the day because we wanted to basically sort of get through all the funny stuff and then be very serious towards the end of the headline. So hang tight for all those. And I think you will agree that we made the right choice to cover them in this direction. So the first headline for this morning, the first story we have this morning reads with the headline, Kanye West Vultures album live stream cuts off after rapper calls himself antisemite, because that's kind of what he does. Now, there were two Kanye West stories in for this weekend, and two of them basically back to back. One was the fact that his live stream of his premiere of his album got cut off after he said, "I'm an anti-Semite. I don't like the Jews," essentially. And the second one was the fact that his album, which was released over the weekend, disappeared about 5 hours after it was released. Now, these began back in 2022. So this "I'm an anti-Semite, I like Hitler" stuff has been going around for a while because he said good things about the Nazi Party, which there really are no good things to say about the Nazi Party. But because of this particular thing, this is that. We combine the two, so the numbers are inflated for this one story. But trust me, they're about the same for both stories. Kanye West taking over what should have been Usher's weekend, or maybe Taylor Swift's weekend, maybe Beyonce, because she was all over the place. Kanye took over a whole lot of bandwidth for music this weekend. Our headline for number 2 this morning: Backlash against Warner Brothers rages after report indicates Coyote versus Acme appears to be deleted forever. So there's a lot of stuff going on at Warner Brothers, and essentially after basically completing, about 5-6 different movies that cost a whole lot of money, they put them on the shelf for tax write-offs, including the almost finished, completely finished, basically done with reshoots, a Batgirl movie that could have been, out now in theaters near you. This movie called Coyote versus Acme, which is a kind of a bigger play with a whole lot of stars, a whole lot of people in this one. John Cena, I'm sure, is in this as well. Was basically pitched, or was tried to be pitched. They tried to pitch it other places. Netflix, Amazon, Paramount, they all wanted a piece of it. They'll take it, they'll play it, they'll do what they can to distribute it. But Warner Brothers is saying they're not going to sell it. Essentially, they're just going to get rid of it, killing it completely, erasing it from any knowledge of it just being existing. In this day and age, it's easy to do. We'll see how that plays out going forward. The third story for this morning: Greg Olsen fires brutal jab, refuses to settle as second fiddle to Tom Brady on broadcasting. Tom Brady had a pretty big night last night during Super Bowl Sunday, where he spent a lot of time in a lot of commercials. One, especially with him on a betting app. One with him in the Dunkin' Donuts with the crew, that being, those guys and J-Lo, and just kind of being all over the place. One thing is going to be all over the place next year is in the commentary booth, where he will be essentially the lead analyst, lead color guy for Fox Sports, which means Greg Olsen, in his gap year between having Troy Aikman and now Tom Brady, may be squeezed out to the number 2 spot after finally get that number 1 spot. We'll see what happens going forward. He says he's here to win, he's here to play, and he's got his going on, so he's not stepping back for Tom Brady. He's still giving full force, and he still thinks he's the number 1 analyst, even though Tom Brady's is the Tom Brady. We just have to admit that. Our headline for the fourth story this morning reads, Jessica Simpson posted an ad for milk and some fans got upset. Why? Well, milk is an interesting topic these days because milk, pretty much everyone agrees that milk is bad for humans and really bad. Cow milk and other milks are bad for adults. Plant-based milks and fortified foods are available that make it better for, the cows. But still, milk itself is not really great for people. I mean, 20 years ago, lactose intolerance was just sort of a minor thing. Now everybody's basically lactose intolerant, but we all drink coffee, which isn't really coffee. It's really milk with coffee in it. Lattes and such like that. And so Jessica Simpson bringing up the brand new ad to support milk, because milk apparently did do a body good. Now it's kind of controversial. And the reason, and Jessica Simpson's getting a lot of feedback and blowback from doing this. The next headline at number 5 this morning. Larry Hogan launches surprise Maryland Senate bid. The former governor of Maryland is now going to run for the Senate, which is interesting, which is cool, which if you were wondering what Larry Hogan was going to do, there was a lot of rumors that he was in the no labels game and was going to basically run for president because the other two guys are old and really crazy. He's decided he didn't want a part of that game. He's going to run for something a bit more safe, something he might actually win, and that is the Senate seat in Maryland. Now, here's what's really odd. There were many, we'll explain the whole feeds thing, but we had 30 stories to pick from today. And somehow I feel like I failed you with this story because there should have been much more interesting things to put out there. We could have got rid of Kanye and did other stuff, but Kanye was so over there. Larry Hogan running for Senate and not trying to play for the presidential bid is actually a really important story. So it's something you really need to know about what's going on in the political landscape. This is a guy that many people, the Republican, who's liked by Democrats essentially, is a guy that people could get behind and vote for if Republicans weren't all falling in line for a guy like Donald Trump. So let's hold that in your craw for just a bit. At number 6, Mary J. Blige, Mariah Carey, Cher, Oasis, and Ozzy Osbourne among Rock and Roll Hall of Fame nominees for 24. I'm going to read the full list because there's no way I can really do this justice unless reading the full list of 15. Mary J. Blige, Mariah Carey. Let me get to the photo there for people watching the video. Cher, Dave Matthews Band, Eric B. and Rakim, Foreigner, Peter Frampton, James Addiction, Kool and the Gang, Lenny Kravitz, Oasis, Sinead O'Connor, Ozzy Osbourne, Sade, and A Tribe Called Quest. Now, you can go back and forth on the what's a rock and roll thing and one thing and wonder how Tribe Called Quest and Eric B. and Rakim got in there. They are very big influences in the modern era of rap, even though the current rappers sound nothing like them. You may even talk about Mariah Carey, Mary J. Blige, maybe even Cher, but hey, Dolly Parton's in there, and she's like, I'm not rock and roll. And like, really, well, you're cool enough. It's like, well, can I do some rock and roll? It's like, yeah, hell yeah, do some rock and roll. These are folks, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is not so much rock and roll as in, guitars and lots of hair and metal. It really is about influence in music all around. Rock and roll is everywhere. We are all rock and roll. And these 15 folks are having a chance to go into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. We'll see who comes down in a few months. The headline for number 7, Angelina Jolie and Brad Pitt's contentious divorce is reportedly close to being finalized. That's it. They're almost actually divorced. You didn't think they were divorced? Because I sure thought they were divorced. But the reason why we have these stories about them dealing with the farm and the kids and assets is because they actually haven't finalized this divorce yet. It seems like they've been divorcing since right after he divorced the other wife, because it just seems like it's forever. But the original Mr. and Mrs. Smith are almost no longer the original Mr. and Mrs. Smith. They're almost finally divorced. I'm confused as you are. With all the breakups we had last year, it's amazing how they didn't finish their breakup faster. You think they could have figured that out. Also, this is the last of the funnier stories or the more kind of out there stories, because we're going to go serious the next two. Darren Criss fuels rumors that Glee co-star Lea Michele can't read on WWHL. What happens? The thing with Andy Cohen. All right, so he actually says he loves Lea Michele and that Lea Michele actually can read. So how does this get started? Well, it got started from just basically the cast members of Glee not liking her and the fact that Lea Michele just could not improvise her lines. You give her a set of lines and she couldn't improvise them because she couldn't read them first and then figure out what to say on that end. That was where the original rumor came from, and that rumor was blown up by many other cast members in their autobiographies and their appearances. And Darren Criss joked about it for a while, but then said, no, she actually can read. And I think he maybe winked at the camera and started it. really obvious or something. I don't know. But, I get blasted for my Leah Michele can't read stuff because people say that's mean. Well, I'm not the one who said it. Darren Chris said it. Blast him. Now, next story, very somber, very sad. We're going to do this and do this with as much respect as possible. 5 Marines killed in helicopter crash are identified. We're going to read the 5 names of the Marines who killed. And we're just going to, hopefully you can take some time in your day to just reflect on the lives of these brave men and women who are brave men, essentially, on this case, who were there in this situation. The names of the crew members are Lance Corporal Donovan Davis, 21, Sergeant Alec Langan, 23, Captain Benjamin Moulton, 27, Captain Jack Casey, 26, and Captain Miguel Nava, 28. Davis and Langan were helicopter crew chiefs. Moulton, Casey, and Nava were helicopter pilots. And we, of course, are giving our prayers, our thoughts, and a little time to reflect on the lives of these brave gentlemen. The final story is a bit of a much, so go with this one. But this story is getting over and overly covered. So this one, because we got to do clicks and do things that are basically conversational, this one's extremely conversational. Woman with small child opens fire inside Joel Osteen's church in Texas. The shooting happened between services. So there was minimum damage that could have been done, although we've heard reports of people who were hiding in closets, hiding behind pews, hiding where they could in the Lakewood Church in Texas, Houston, Texas, formerly the Compact Center. If you watched Joel Osteen in the past 10 years, you'll hear the stories about how God gave him the Compact Center. It used to be where the Houston Rockets played, and they were able to get that as a church. An incident happened where a woman with a small child wearing a trench coat, with a small child, came into the church and opened fire. She fired brandishing a long gun. She said she had a bomb, but no bomb was found. She was spraying some sort of liquid in the grounds around her, and no one that wasn't identified. She was killed in the incident. The child was shot and injured in the incident. Also, another adult was shot who had nothing to do with it. No one thought. He was just kind of there and just in the wrong place, standing in the wrong place, the wrong time. There's no motive on this one, and they may never have a motive what's going on, and they really don't know who the child belonged to, assuming it belonged to the woman. This is something that's going to take a little time to process and go through. So we are also sending lots of positive energy, thoughts, and prayers to the child and anyone who was affected by this incident, whether in the PTSD incident or the man who was shot. And we would kind of want to know what's going on, because this is the kind of thing you need to know what's going on in the end. And our apologies, errors in the mission section. For some reason, Mondays has been lately a bad tech day, a bad bandwidth day. So hopefully this is being broadcast without too many glitches and stops. That's what we're hoping for. Also, we'll talk about in a moment the football hangover. And that's what we have. A very late start, some issues with the computers, and some issues with my brain computer getting up after a very long Super Bowl night, with the overtime making it kind of worse. And coming in to do some videos last night because, I'm a glutton for punishment and need the clicks. So there's your errors. There's your apologies. Any errors from that may have come to that. But the minute story for the day, one story we didn't have time for, and we wanted to do very quickly. We didn't cover Super Bowl ads in the cast for the day, but one ad we have to throw out there, although there's some great ones and some ones that made you scratch your head. This one befuddled essentially the nation, including the commentaries this morning, wondering what's going on, and the family of RFK, who actually was like, why is he doing this? RFK Jr. Super PAC reboots vintage JFK ad, make that straight, for Super Bowl commercial. They took an old ad and they basically superimposed RFK Jr. on JFK and played the same music, essentially saying the same thing that JFK was doing about Nixon. Nixon was old and couldn't do the job, and folks he was running against was there. So JFK said he could do that and make it happen. At least that's what the jingle says. Go to your YouTube or online and see the ad if you must, because it makes no sense. Remember when I said I would have voted for RFK Jr. even though he's crazy because he's not Joe Biden? The crazy part may be overdoing the not Joe Biden part at this point, because I don't understand it. But check out the story for yourself, check out the ad for yourself, and be as dumbfounded as basically everybody else around here. Our teaser story for this morning is a story where we could possibly chat about tomorrow. I'm going to give you a chance to get into it early and explain how the feeds work, which is the most important part of this. Why are we doing this? Because we need to tell you how we get the stories to you every single day. The teaser story, the headline reads, Trump says he wouldn't defend NATO allies in Russia if they were delinquent. He gave in a speech yesterday or Saturday, somewhere in the time on the weekend, a speech, a hypothetical scenario, which he said it happened, but pretty sure it didn't, where some prominent leader in NATO came to him and said, Mr. Trump, if we're, I know how you were about the payments for NATO. If we're behind a little bit, are you going to take care of us? In which Trump basically said, if you're behind, not only are we not going to take care of you, we invite Russia to do whatever the hell they want to. Words those effects. Do you want to talk about this topic tomorrow? This is a topic you want in the 8 topics for tomorrow, because tomorrow there'll be 8. You just go to our feeds on Facebook and Twitter. Facebook.com/This Is a Conversation Project and Twitter.com/TH_conversation. You'll see those links wherever you're seeing this video or listening to this audio or reading the links, I guess. If you like this story and you want to chat about it, just engage in it. Just do what you do on Twitter and Facebook when you check out Twitter and Facebook. Check us out as well. Like the story, hate the story, share it with other folks. The higher the actual engagement from both Twitter and Facebook, or X and Facebook, the better chance we have of talking about it. Today, we picked 30 stories from over 90 stories of the weekend, and we pulled 10 of those into the cast. 11 if you count the minute one. Tomorrow, we're going to pull 8 stories from 15, the top 15 stories of the day. 8 of them will be here. If you want this one in here, engage. If I see it bright and shiny, that's 15. We're probably talking about that story. We're probably talking about it anyway, but we'll see what happens. Our sponsor we're spotlighting this morning is Hostage Tape. And you guys have been sleeping on Hostage Tape, literally, because it actually helps you with your sleep. Putting the mouth tape on your mouth keeps you from having your mouth open and breathing through your mouth. Now, if you're one of those guys that says, but I like the strips on my nose, Hostage Tapes has strips to put on your nose. I joked about that, but hey, they got you covered. Any way to keep you breathing better is breathing better, even if it goes beyond their original sort of jokey name of Hostage Tape. Yes, it's tape over your mouth so you can't open your mouth, but it helps you breathe because it forces you to breathe out of your nose. And if you get the strips, it opens up your nostrils for easier breathing. It's great for exercising. It's great for just kind of moving around and just doing stuff. It's extremely great for sleeping and saving your relationship with your partner so that you're not snoring as much. And they have great deals on getting a bunch of it because people are finding out that it's good and they are buying it in bulk, so you can as well. So check it out for Hostage Tape. Go to our link, our affiliate link, so we get an affiliate commission for your purchase. This is a conversationproject.com/hostage tape. This is a conversationproject.com/hostage tape, and just get in on the thing. You'll love it. You may laugh, you may giggle. Actually, you can't laugh and giggle because your mouth will be covered up. But you may giggle before you put it on there, but you'll see just how much you'll get from Hostage Tape. Let's talk about the Conversation Project for a quick moment because it's what we do. And we're going to talk about it for a bit longer moment, if you will, because it's February, it's a month of love, and this is where we do the long pledge drive stuff, even if we are running behind and all sorts of craziness is happening with gremlins. So the Conversation Project lives online at This Is Conversation Project. And then let me go ahead and launch this for you watching the video, launch the big slide so we can go through all the things you can find us. If you're listening, bear with us. This won't take very long. The website, as I literally just said, this is conversationproject.com. Find out about what we do all day, every day at the website. It gives us less time to yak about it, except in pledge drives a month. Facebook and Twitter, or X, are where we have our feeds. If you see us on Facebook on our page or our Twitter page, you can see the stories we post every 50 minutes. And as you engage in them, we get a chance to get stories to talk about. We're on TikTok and YouTube doing the shorts as well. So you can see all the videos we do about the newsy stuff and the hot takes as well. Our podcast, go to our website and click link for the podcast because we are basically anywhere your pods are cast in audio form for 3 things. This one here, this is called Things You Might Have Heard. Also the weekly wrap up and the story of the week. Those are all podcasts you can just listen to via audio without my face in them. They're there. You can also go to the website and find ways to kick those links via the website and listen and just get the links to them and not deal with my face or my voice if that's what you want. Subscribe to the partnership by going to buymeacoffee.com/jclevelandpayne or our partnerships page, and you can become a subscriber. Now, the main reason why we're doing all this rundown of talking and stuff like this is every February we come out with our pledge drive, just like if we were your local PBS station, because this is a project that takes resources and time. We're looking to gather an extra $200 of reoccurring subscriptions, reoccurring income, if you will, for the month. At the end of February, we hope to have an extra $200 to operate going forward, so we can have more people coming in, more side folks, more permanent folks, if you will, and buy more equipment and do more time things. What you're going to get as being a subscriber, being a person who is a part of the family in that way, is we're going to give you some extra insight what's going on. Unfortunately, we got a lot of stuff that's not so great going on, so it's a lot of sad stories happening here. So people are getting them right now. The insiders are seeing some sadness, but I'm loving what I'm getting in response from that. If you're just going to the email address, that's good as well. Email us at theconversationinbox@gmail.com, 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 and you can, for free, tell me things that going back and forth and communicate with us, but you're not getting the full slate of really sad stories right now, but they'll get better, and you'll be a part of the team to help miss things going. And now, the fun stuff as promised. Every day we do fun stuff to wrap up the day, and today is no exception. We always begin that fun stuff every day with birthdays, because birthdays are the fun stuff. Having your name called out as birthday is the awesomest of awesome stuff. Today's birthday wishes go out to, or main wishes go out to Josh Brolin, who of course played Thanos in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. He played, he's been in a bunch of iconic movies, actually, you know, going all the way back to things like Goonies, things like that. So he's been doing this for a while. Son of the son of famous people, and just got in the business that way, and just good looking dude. He played Cable in the Deadpool movies, which is technically not part of Marvel Cinematic Universe, but with the new release of the new trailer for Deadpool and Wolverine, we're not sure if Cable's making an appearance. A lot of other folks are. We think it's going to be a weirdness, madness that's going to bring together the Marvel Universe, plus the mutants, plus all those things, maybe even some Spider-Man. But this is not a promo for Deadpool and Wolverine. This is birthday wishes to Josh Brolin, who is 56 years old today. Happy birthday, Thanos. Also, Christina Ricci, 44, and Judy Blume, still making it happen at 86 years old today. Our lesson in history today, going back to 2013, when North Korea confirmed it had successfully tested a nuclear device that could be weaponized. They've not used it. They probably aren't going to use it. They probably don't actually have it. But it's been 11 years, and they said they have it, and we're still worried about them because they're kind of crazy. But the weapon, we don't really know. That's, to be honest, don't really know. And football hangover day. Monday after Super Bowl is recognized as Football Hangover Day, and it was created by ESPN host and sports personality Katie Nolan. So it's only been around since 2019, something she just sort of literally made up a few years ago, and we're sticking with it. Basically, this is a day when all football is done. College football has been over for a few weeks. This is the last football game in the NFL for 7 months, and while we do have spring football and other things going on, we'll see how those leagues go. Those leagues kind of pop in, pop out in the last couple of years. We'll see what happens with this year's new, I guess it's Universal Football League, where the XFL and USFL have merged as a tag team because The Rock is in charge of it. We'll see how well it does for spring football. Should be fairly well played. Played fairly well. This is my football hangover. Football played very well because it should have a lot of resources, because a lot of folks need this to go, because they need a feeder system for football for minor leagues, and this is the best way to do it. Although they're playing more football. You saw the commercial of football development in Africa, and of course the Europeans love football, even though all we do is pull soccer kickers for place kickers. All right, that's enough. Hangover over, show over. Monday not quite over, but the show for Monday, the 12th of February 2024 is done. Thank you so much for being a part of the show and the family with us here for the Conversation Project. Make sure you are liking and subscribing to the videos and sharing them with other folks. Make sure you go to our feeds on Facebook and Twitter and let us know what stories to talk about. That's how we get the words in our mouth. Go to your email machine and email me with what you want me to do about it. That is, thisisconversationproject.com. I'm sorry, the conversation inbox at gmail.com. And thisisconversationproject.com is our home where you can find many other things, including links where you can partner up with us. Stay limber, stay hydrated, stay on task for all the grand things you're here for. Love you, mean it. Have a great Monday. Have a great week. We are, it's Mardi Gras week if you're into that kind of thing. It's the week, Valentine's Day if you're into that kind of thing. It's a brand new week. It's a brand new day. Go enjoy it. Have fun. Let's do this again tomorrow.